for the win. Garnett on the slam. Oh, here's a Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry.
At long last, a moment long awaited. What's up, NBA fans? Dom2K on the mic, and we are here just a few days before NBA 2K25 drops. Yet, I'm not really focused on the regular console versions and the whole routine we do every year, although I will admit a lot of what I've seen looks good. I'm here focused on PC. If you follow my 2K content in any recent times, you probably know it's all I really care about, and there's a good reason for it. As I showed you around this relative time last year why we were never going to get the best version of NBA 2K24, I'm here to show you today why you are going to get the best version of NBA 2K25. As I mentioned last year, mods simply enhance the experience of every part of a basketball game you will get that doesn't touch online. Of course, you're gonna get banned if you take them online. I'm not sure how many of you remember the NBA 2K12 Ultimate Base Roster, I believe it was called. I did a video on it back in 2020. Well, ironically at that time, we were playing NBA 2K20, and that game now has the same type of mods 2K12 had thanks to modder Thundershack. He began work on this roster back in the year 2020 and just decided to never stop, which is the first reason I'm happy 2K25 is going to have mods. No matter which way you cut it, they extend the lifetime of a basketball game. They make them playable. It makes it so you don't have to just go back and pretend you're enjoying it because of nostalgia. And what Thundershack has done with this roster is what makes me so excited to see the capabilities on next gen. He's quite literally done what y'all have always asked 2K to do, which you're never going to get as long as they're dropping one basketball game every year. Over the years, he's created detailed rosters that entail entire seasons, an emphasis on entire, all the way from the year 2024, dating back to 1985 and counting. So as he continues to go back, he answers y'all's question about, oh, why can't I just jump into NBA eras and start in any season? If he continues, you are going to be able to jump in any season. And better yet, you aren't going to be missing players because modders are not limited to what cyber faces they can make or what they can add. It's all aftermarket stuff. So the stark difference in this and what I was streaming back in 2020 was that was just a roster specifically starting in the year 1997. We plugged it in and we simulated the NBA all the way up to the 2020s. If I had this at the time, I would have been able to plug in any of these seasons I wanted and just go from there. As you would probably expect if you're familiar with Thundershack, everything is done to standard. The jerseys, the cyber faces, and it's just a level of detail which excites me to see what's going to happen with the new technology we've been sitting on now for about 4 years. For instance, when this hits the PS5 version in a couple of days, I'm so excited to see the work in variations on cyber faces. Cause although the vanilla version has made efforts to give us some different versions of important players, in a roster like this done by a modder, you are going to have multiple cyber faces for multiple players, whether it's a role player or a superstar. You're not going to be playing with 2014 Tim Duncan representing like 2 or 3 other younger Spurs teams. Although that might have been a bad example, they definitely have tried with Timmy. You get the point. Because you'll get this, the many random teams you'll run into just feel authentic in a way it never could on console. For instance, I just scroll to the bottom and look at the ultimate rosters which feature random teams from random years, and it's really cool because when I ask what teams still need to be added to 2K, I feel like I see some of them here. And then you'll go into those rosters and notice, hey, not only does Dwight Howard not have dreads in a year he wasn't wearing dreads, he has nearly the exact type of gear he was wearing in some games that year. So you can quite literally just spend hours scrolling through each season, each ultimate roster, and when you do, you'll then find all the Team USA teams, fully kitted with their correct jerseys, haircuts, cyber faces, and nobody's missing. I personally grew up in the era of 2K where sometimes Team USA was there, sometimes they wouldn't, and a lot of the times it was just in the Olympic years. You could hypothetically just spring a playoff bracket between these guys or mix them with the all-time teams, which are also fully kitted. So you'll go to the all-time Pacers, all-time Suns, and you'll notice Reggie Miller and Charles Barkley are not missing. That circles back to the point earlier about how in vanilla 2K there would just always be certain guys missing, which is going to indirectly affect their errors mode. Well, actually it's going to affect it directly, because when you do things like drafts or you start in a certain year, you start in a certain era, there's going to be important superstars where even if you can download them, they ain't gonna look like themselves and they probably ain't gonna play like themselves. Oh, right, drafts. Yeah, he's got those too. So if you are planning to go into an errors mode or my league, plug it in. You're gonna be able to start anywhere, and you're gonna be able to start with completed drafts. Not that bullshit where you scroll through a draft and notice by like 1 or 2 scrolls you're already to people who don't exist. Cool, so I feel like you've got the point. I haven't had to do too much talking about the world this is going to open up for 2K25 on newer technology, but I feel like this specific mod happening in 2K20 really helps my point even more, talking about how long it helps a game last. Because low key, if you use graphic mods on this game and you mix it with these rosters, which I haven't done in this video, but I have graphic modded 2K20 before, you look at some of the shots and you're going, damn, this kinda looks comparable to what we've had today. Yes, the graphics have improved, thankfully. Even 2K25, it does seem they figured some things out there. But you gotta be real, some of what you can see in a 4-year-old game, which people have continued to work on, kinda looks really damn good and passable for 2024. So imagine 2K25 having a couple years of work on it. I am going to wager to say it will probably still end up looking better than the vanilla versions of what we have left on the PS5. It will actually just be a better product than what we have left on 2K26 and 27. I believe that's all that's left for the consoles. So allow me to demonstrate how easy this is to use as well. I'm going to leave links in the comment section and description to his Twitter, and if this is publicly available, that will be there too. I'm pretty sure it is. And yeah, the process is as simple as finding your remote folder, which lives in your NBA 2K20 folder, wherever that is on Steam. That part you're gonna have to Google. I have pinned it so I can always find it. You're gonna have to Google that part. Anyways, once you do, this is where all your save data lives. So when you're actually in the game and you go create and save a roster, it's gonna pop up here. I've got a couple of them. You see roster 02, roster 03, and all you have to do is whichever of these seasons you want, you just drag them out onto your desktop and make sure it has the same name as whichever roster you just saved. So for instance, I know my created roster lives in roster 0003. So all I'm going to do is drag whichever of these seasons I want out onto the desktop, take this name and copy it, give the season file that name, and then you drag that file into your remote folder. It's gonna ask you to replace the roster. You just say yes, and you're done. Now you can go into 2K and load this roster wherever you want. So if you just want to do a quick game and test it out, you just go load whichever roster you know you've named or saved earlier. It's gonna be right there. You can do the same for my league as I showed earlier. Go do a sim if you want, go actually play a season if you want. If for whatever reason you wanted to play the 05 year, go play it. This is the world awaiting us for the PlayStation 5 version of NBA 2K25, and I cannot wait. The content will be more creative across the landscape. Customers will hopefully have more fun, and people will realize putting these games on PC does not affect your life if you're on console and you're worried about cheating. The game is not cross-platform on PC. That was all that ever needed to happen, and I said as much in the NBA 2K24 video last year. So that's it. After 4 long years, welcome back to the world of modding. I am excited. I expect an uptick in custom 2K content, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you are as well, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. As I said earlier, links to everything you saw will hopefully be in both the comment section and description if you want to mess with this yourself. You'll notice today I use this roster for a lot of the custom stuff you see in the long videos I do. So that is one practical use of an old basketball game you'll get when modders are allowed to have their hands on it. Now look at all these beautiful games on the PlayStation 5 which are going to be forgotten because there will never be any custom content for them. Better late than never, I guess. Appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you on the next one.